into my live. I know I had a long hiatus. I guess you could say I've been on. I haven't been on for a while. So I say I haven't been on since my favorite boxing prospect of Puerto Rico lost. Abisal Cotto, my friend, my good friend. He had a little fluke, but I believe that he'll come back. Abisal Cotto, who fought on the zone for the first time. He was 10-0 with 8 KOs. He lost to a Dominican fighter, Hernandez, Delvin Duran Hernandez, who I didn't expect Pisar Cotto to lose, but I think he was winning the fight. It was close, but he was doing really good when he was boxing. But then when he got in the exchanges with Duran Hernandez, the Dominican guy, he got careless. You know, he had his hands down, but I think he was admiring his work, and he was actually hurting Duran Hernandez a lot in the fight, but then he also got caught with some counters as well. So quiero traducir eso en mi canal. Quiero darle la bienvenida a toda la gente que están en sintonía a mi canal. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Subscribe to the channel. I'm almost getting to 1,000 subscribers. Estoy casi llegando a 1,000 suscriptores. Quería hablar de la razón que yo no he estado haciendo videos en vivo de boxeo, porque estaba dolorido, porque mi boxeador favorito, Abisal Cotto, acabó de perder contra Duran Hernández, un dominicano. No me imaginaba que iba a perder con él, pero a la misma vez estaba ganando Abisal Cotto y estaba usando su boxeo. Pero cuando se puso a intercambiar con él, la cosa se puso un poquito muy pesada, porque él estaba enfocado en tirar combinaciones adentro cuando lo estaba dominando con su boxeo, y creo que lució muy bien Abisal Cotto en las partes que cuando él boxeaba, y lastimó a Duran Hernández, pero a la misma vez se envuelto en la pelea, en la guerra, en el fuego de la pelea, se enfocó mucho en el fuego de la pelea, tal, y se enredó en el intercambio, y creo que eso fue que lo perjudicó. Pero creo que si él usaba su boxeo, Abisal Cotto, él iba a ganar fácilmente, solo que la adrenalina de la pelea y el momento. Yo sé que Abisal Cotto es mucho mejor que Duran Hernández, y estaba un poquito desilusionado, pero a la misma vez esto es boxeo, y creo que Abisal Cotto todavía tiene un futuro por delante y puede ganarle en la revancha, porque Abisal Cotto es mucho más talentoso que Duran Hernández, y creo que en la revancha Abisal Cotto le gana por decisión o por nocaut. Creo que Abisal Cotto es un tremendo talentoso boxeador, y creo que merece respeto por meterse en el ring, y yo sé que él aprendió de su error y va a boxear la próxima vez, usar su jab, su boxeo, y es mi boxeador favorito todavía de Puerto Rico, y también en la pelea principal Félix Parilla también lució bastante bien, y me gustaría entrevistarlo también, y me gustaría entrevistar a Abisal Cotto también. Yes, I would like to interview Abisal Cotto whenever he wants to, whenever he's free. And I also believe that that's the reason why I haven't been on my lives, because I was a little upset that Abisal Cotto lost, but he's gonna come back stronger and better, and I believe that it was a fluke, and he's gonna look a lot better in the rematch and knock out Duran Hernandez or win by decision, because he's a better boxer than him. So anyway, yo dije que Abisal Cotto es un boxeador mejor que Duran Hernández, y va a ganarle en la revancha por decisión o por nocaut. Sé que él aprendió de su lesión, y en la próxima pelea él va a lucir mucho mejor, y va a demostrarle a la gente que una derrota no termina la carrera de alguien. Y Abisal Cotto va a lucir mucho mejor, va a mantener el jab, y va a usar más defensa, y esa es la clave para que él le gane la revancha a Duran Hernandez. So anyway, I was saying that Abisal Cotto, all he had to do in that fight was to use the jab and box and counter and win by decision, or possibly knock him out, if he catches him. But, things happen. He learned from his mistake. I believe he learned from his mistakes. And in the rematch, he'll possibly beat Duran Hernandez by knockout or by unanimous decision. Anyway, I want to talk about what's going on now in boxing. There's a lot of things going on. We have Jerome Boots Ennis negotiations between Xander Zayas. They're supposed to fight June 27th. in the Barclays Center. There's a lot of talks, and the talks are moving rapidly. And I don't know if Top Rank is doing this because he wanted to, because he wanted to simplify a deal partnership with the Zone and have a platform for Top Rank fights to be on the Zone. And I don't know if he was doing that to make Xander Zayas a sacrificial lamb, and being willing to do that, he put him in the ring. He's willing to put him to face Jerome Ennis, and I believe that it's a risky fight, but I believe that Xander Zayas has the possibilities to actually beat a Jerome Ennis, or either way, or Jerome Ennis could beat Xander Zayas. It's a very risky fight. I think that Jerome Ennis has not proven anything at 154, but he is a force to be reckoned with. He did look good in his last performance against Lima. Lima is nobody to be really taking really serious, but he did what he was supposed to do. He's not an elite fighter, but he did what he was supposed to do at 154 with an inferior opponent in Lima, Jerome Ennis. But I believe that Xander Zayas was possibly thrown through the wolves to fight somebody like Jerome Ennis because, the Virgil Ortiz fight have fell off because the legal situation with Oscar De La Hoya and Virgil Ortiz. So he's put on the shelf for a while. He's not allowed to fight anybody until that's resolved and until that legal civil case that he has against De La Hoya is resolved. So we won't be able to see Virgil Ortiz fight anytime soon until he gets that resolved. So now we can't get a fight with Virgil Ortiz and Jerome Ennis. So now they kind of like they have their back pushed against the wall. A lot of people want to see Jerome Ennis or Xander Zayas fight somebody like fight each other, like Jerome Ennis fight Xander Zayas or Xander Zayas fight Jerome Ennis. But I believe that Top Rank probably made this decision to throw Xander Zayas to the wolves, if you want to use that metaphor, to fight Jerome Ennis because it's a high demand fight, and it's a fight that probably the Zone probably forced or imposed Top Rank to actually make that fight, or just to give him a platform. So I believe that Top Rank didn't have a platform to have his fighters on. So I believe maybe there was a lot of pressure from the Zone to make a match that big of a magnitude with Jerome Ennis versus Xander Zayas, and that's probably played a hand behind the scenes to make Top Rank Bob Arum make a decision to just kind of force Xander Zayas to fight Jerome Ennis when he really doesn't have to fight Jerome Ennis because he already sold 1 million pay-per-views in Puerto Rico, Xander Zayas. So he's a commodity, he's a name. He doesn't really need to fight Jerome Ennis to make money and to get people to watch his fights. So it's a good fight. It's a really good fight. It's a risky fight, but I believe that Xander Zayas, a lot of people are sleeping on him, and they don't give him a chance. But there's a lot of people that know that he does have a chance because Xander Zayas, he's a boxer. He has skills. He has speed. He has defense. He has a jab. He has quick footwork. He has all the skills in the world to make this fight competitive or even win this fight. But it's a 50-50 fight, and we don't know how good Jerome Ennis is going to be against a formidable, talented, elite, skillful boxer like Xander Zayas. But we don't know how Xander Zayas is going to deal with the power that Jerome Ennis has, which is, it's something to think about. But, brutal force is not going to beat somebody like Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas has a lot of tools and a lot in his boxing game and his pedigree. So a lot of people are sleeping on Xander Zayas. So I'm not saying who's going to win. Hey, John Doe, VB15. Hey, brother, thanks for tuning into my channel, John Doe. Long live Puerto Rico, Bayamon. Yeah, my Boricuas. Yes, subscribe to that channel. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody that tunes into my channel is my family, and I really appreciate all of you from the bottom of my heart. Everybody that tunes into my channel, I got new people tuning in, and I got people that are they've always tuned in and are always part of the family. They're my regulars that always come and tune into my channel. I appreciate you guys. I look forward to seeing all of you Tune into my channel and give me your interesting comments. Let me know what you think about the Xander Zayas fight between Jarambus Ennis and Xander Zayas. All right, girl Pops says, okay. This is a boxing channel, if you didn't know. Yes, subscribe to the channel. Hey, friend, cousin, do you know where I can buy some Pokemon cards at El Primo? Listen, I don't mean to be rude, but this is a boxing channel. If you want to buy Pokemon cards, you find out somewhere else. Over here, you're going to find out about boxing, not Pokemon cards. But anyway, not trying to be rude, girl. Not trying to be rude, Mr. T962. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for your question. But I don't answer those kind of questions. You got to keep everything boxing related, and we will move along. So yes, thanks for your comment, though. I appreciate that. John Doe VB15 says, I got you, hermano. I appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for tuning in for this channel. And subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Not trying. I'm going to get to 1,000 and beyond. Because everybody knows that Tony also brings the charisma, the truth, the unadulterated truth. And I don't clickbait. I real bait. So when you click on the heading, the heading that I put on my channel is to actually bring you into something real, a great experience, and not just clickbaiting. I'm actually real baiting. I'm giving you the truth. And I know a lot of people don't dare to tell the truth, especially nowadays in this time that we're living in. But right now, you need people like me. You need people like Tony also, bringing the real and telling the truth. Because a lot of people are scared of the truth and they're scared to learn something. People just want to just be entertained, but they don't want to learn. Right now, in my channel, I'm going to entertain you and you're going to learn, whether you want to or not. But if you don't want to, you can leave. But my channel is for those that want to grow their mind, their knowledge in boxing, anything about life. I'm going to talk about everything in here. If you ask me a question that's personal in here, I might answer your question if it's edifying to you, but I'm not going to answer no Pokemon, where I buy Pokemon cards, questions. No, I'm not going to answer that because I'm not into Pokemon. I'm not into that. Anyway, Lourdes Rivera, greetings. Thanks for tuning in. That's one of my regulars right there. Lourdes Rivera, number 3. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Click that like button. Don't be afraid to comment. And thank you for tuning in. Everybody that tunes into my channel is going to get the real, no holds barred truth, unadulterated facts, and speaking your mind, but doing it with class. Tony also does everything with class. I don't mean to too much, to toot my own horn, but I know what I bring to the table. So anyway, we're talking about Xander Zayas, 23-0 with 13 KOs, fighting Jarambus Ennis, who is 35-0 with 31 KOs. So yeah, it's a difference in power, but skill-wise, they're both skillful in their own way. But Jarambus Ennis tends to admire his power sometimes, and sometimes he engages a lot, and he gets hit sometimes. He's not flawless. Like Mayweather was almost flawless. Pernell Whitaker was almost flawless. Better than Mayweather, I think. Pernell Whitaker. So yeah, there's possibilities for Xander Zayas to win a fight like that, but there's also possibilities that he can lose a fight like that. So we don't know. We don't know what Jarambus Ennis we're going to see in the ring at 154 against Xander Zayas, and we don't know what Xander Zayas we're going to see against Jarambus Ennis, but we do know that Xander Zayas always brings his A game, and he has a lot of cojones. He has a lot of guts, a lot of fortitude, a lot of bravery, and he's not scared to fight anybody. He's willing to take all that smoke with anybody. Virgil Ortiz avoided him, fought Madrimo. Xander Zayas even wanted to smoke with Fundora, and Fundora denied it. He fought Tim Tszyu. He fought Tszyu. So anyway, he fought him, and everybody was ducking Xander Zayas, not the other way around. Xander Zayas is not ducking nobody. He wants all that smoke. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. We also got May 2nd. We have David Benavidez. Yes, David Benavidez, May 2nd, is going to fight Zurdo Ramirez. I kind of pronounced that a little bit wrong. May 2nd, PBC, pay-per-view. We technically, David Benavidez is a three-time champion, 3-belt champion, not a 5-time. If you want to count the other organizations, he's got, I say 5-time, but really he is a 3-belt championship fighter. and he is moving up in weight, fighting Zuldo Ramirez for the cruiserweight WBA and WBO titles that Zuldo Ramirez possesses. So this is an interesting fight, May 2nd. And who do you guys have winning that fight? Between David Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez. You know that David Benavidez is one of my favorite fighters, and I do root for David Benavidez hard. I love the way he fights, and I think that Canelo Alvarez avoided that fight at all costs against David Benavidez, and David Benavidez was going to put a whooping on his ass, for real. But I believe that that's going to be an interesting fight. I think David Benavidez wins. Does he win by knockout? I don't know. Like when he moved up in weight, his power hasn't been as prevalent as in the 168, but I do believe that he can stop Zuldo Ramirez because he's getting stronger, and I believe that he has the abilities to actually pull that off. I think he can. So I would never sleep on David Benavidez. I love his power, his relentlessness, but I believe he was stronger at 168, but then since he was struggling to make that weight, I think he's going to be stronger at the higher weight class. I think so. I think his body's going to acclimate really well, and I think David Benavidez is going to be taking over the face of boxing with Cinco de Mayo and all those Mexican holidays, maybe, most likely. So, what do you think about Shakur Stevenson between Ryan Garcia? I think that's a circus, but I don't think it's a 50-50 fight like some people are saying. Who said, oh, I think David Benavidez said that it was a 50-50 fight between Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson. That's insane. I love David Benavidez, and I like how he fights, but I don't like that opinion that he said, because there's no way in hell that's a 50-50 fight between Shakur Stevenson and between Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson. That's not a 50-50 fight. I think that's a 95% fight. I think Ryan Garcia has a 5% chance to pull up an upset with Shakur Stevenson. That is my verdict. And there's no way in hell that Ryan Garcia is going to beat Shakur Stevenson or even land those crazy looping wide shots that he throws against Shakur Stevenson. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop drinking that Kool-Aid. David Benavidez, I got love for you, but come on, man. You're drinking that Kool-Aid. Why? You just going with the narrative of the mainstream. Like, you're saying what the Ryan Garcia fans want to hear. Say the truth. Just say that Ryan Garcia don't have a chance against Shakur Stevenson. Just keep it real, man. I know you're real, but you want to be politically correct, I guess, because maybe you're cool with both fighters, so you don't want to say too much. You don't want to say your straight up reality facts. I would have said it, even if you're my friend. I would say it because I keep it real. Like, if you're my friend and I know you're going to fight such and such and he is top of the line, I mean, I'm not going to talk crap about my friend, but I'm not going to say it's a 50-50 fight. I'm not going to say that. At least I'll be that real and keep it a buck and not say it's a 50-50 fight. But, I'm not going to go and say, oh, my friend's going to get his ass kicked. No, I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say that it's not a 50-50 fight. I think it's, he has a prayer's chance. I would say that if my friend was fighting and he's good, and I think he was good, but I didn't want to talk bad about him, but I wanted to be real, and he was fighting somebody like Shakur Stevenson at that elite status, I would say something like, I think my friend has a prayer's chance. That'll be like the most undertone, keeping it real comment without really bashing my friend and being realistic about the fact that Shakur Stevenson is just an elite fighter, and I'm not going to be biased and just say that my friend has a 50-50 chance to win because it's an even fight. I wouldn't say something that outlandish because I'm real, man. I can't lie. I don't know how to lie. I try to lie. I'm not perfect, though. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try to lie. It's kind of hard, but it's kind of hard for me to lie because I'm so real. But at the same time, I'm a real dude, man. I'm a real cat. You know what I was really going to say? I'm a real Nigga, but I want to keep it a little bit. I don't want to push anybody's buttons, but I could say that if I want to. But I choose not to because I come from the projects, man. I can speak my mind about that. I ain't no racial, ain't nothing bad or racial. Is the truth. That's how we grew up. But I want to, enhance my vocabulary and not just limit myself. You know what I mean? So, Lules Rivera, what do you think of Zayas versus Ennis? Good question. I was asking my people over here, my people tuning in, but since my people are asking me questions, look, Lules Rivera, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. What do I think about Xander Zayas versus Ennis? Luis Rivera, I think that Xander Zayas has a chance. He has a chance to win. A lot of people are acting like he's a one-dimensional fighter. He's not a Mexican one-dimensional fighter. He's a Puerto Rican with boxing ability, agility, and movement, defense. He don't have the most power, but he has a lot of speed. And I think maybe he's gonna acclimate into that weight class, 160. I think that's where you're gonna see the strongest version of Xander Zayas. But I believe that Xander Zayas is not an easy fight for anybody. He's not. That's facts. He's not an easy fight for anybody. Do I say he's gonna beat Joran Boots Ennis? I'm not saying he's gonna beat him because Joran Boots Ennis does have power. He has skills and he hits hard. So, and I believe that he does get careless when he kind of admires his work a lot. And I think that that could backfire on him. But I also believe that the fight is a 50-50 fight. That's what I think between Joran Boots Ennis versus Xander Zayas. A lot of people are writing him off. They're writing Xander Zayas off. But I believe it's a 50-50 fight. And he's not an easy fight for anybody. Xander Zayas is not an easy fight for anyone. I'm not saying he's going to beat Joran Boots Ennis, but I'm not saying he's going to lose to him either. Because I feel like he has all the tools, all the skills, all the footwork, all the boxing pedigree in the world to actually give Joran Boots Ennis trouble. And the same goes for Joran Boots Ennis. He has the power, the skills, the footwork to give Xander Zayas a very, very competitive, dangerous fight. And he's a threat because he has power. And I'm not saying that that's all he needs to beat Xander Zayas. He needs more than that. He needs boxing ability. He needs an IQ. And I believe that it's going to be a thinking man's fight. It's going to be a thinking man's fight. And I think Xander Zayas can pull it off. I'm not predicting it for him to win, and I'm not predicting for him to lose. I'm not making any predictions. I'm not making a prediction on Joran Boots Ennis winning or losing. I just know it's going to be a very, very great, intriguing, entertaining fight. And do not take your eyes off the screen because anything can happen. This is boxing. And it's a really great matchup. But I think that they don't really have to fight. I don't think that Xander Zayas really has to fight Joran Boots Ennis at this point in his career. He still has room to grow. And he already sold 1 million pay-per-views in Puerto Rico. He's a household name in Puerto Rico. He could fight whoever he wants in Puerto Rico. And until he feels that he can fight for another championship against an elite fighter like Joran Boots Ennis. But I believe that Xander Zayas really is he comes from a different cloth. He's cut from a different cloth, and he really wants that smoke, and he's really putting pressure on his promoters and his people maybe to make those fights because he really wants to prove that he is the best, and that's what the greatest fighters always do. That's what the Felix Tito Trinidad did. That's what the Miguel Cottos did. But the Felix Tito Trinidad, like that's a lot of shoes to fill. I'm supposed to interview Felix Tito Trinidad. Joey Borrero, my brother Joey Borrero, man, he's a great man, great friend of mine, and I just love that brother. He actually said he's gonna get me Felix Tito Trinidad within September or November because he's gonna go to Puerto Rico and he's gonna bring me Felix Tito Trinidad. So be on the lookout for that as well. God bless you guys. God is doing great things with me in my life, in my career, and I can't complain. My life ain't perfect, but it's getting better than worse. So I think Joran Boots Ennis versus Xander Zayas is a really good fight, but the fight shouldn't. They should make that fight. They should build that fight. They should build that fight. They shouldn't try to rush to make that fight. But I believe that Xander Zayas, he wants that smoke, and he's ready for that smoke. Will he win? Will he lose? I don't know. I just know it's a great, great fight. That's my verdict. But it's a good question. Thanks for your question, Lulia Rivera 9913. She's one of my regulars. I appreciate you tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Yes, so the negotiations with Matchroom and Top Rank actively discussing the terms of Eddie Hearns, indicating a deal for Ennis, Jaramboos Ennis, could be signed as early as March 2026 for the Xander Zayas fight between Xander Zayas and Jaramboos Ennis. And that is a good sign that that fight is going to be official. Jaramboos Ennis versus Xander Zayas. And a lot of people think that that's just they're just saying that to bring hype to that possible fight, but Xander Zayas might fight somebody on the undercard of Jaramboos Ennis, or Jaramboos Ennis on the undercard of Xander Zayas. I don't know, because if they fight in the Prudential Center in Philly, that's where Jaramboos Ennis could draw a lot of people. But when it comes to New York City, a bigger arena like Barclays Center, Madison Square Garden, I think Xander Zayas will fill in that house. He will fill in those seats, and he's the marquee commodity fighter. So I believe that top rank Bob Arum. I feel like the zone was pressuring to make that fight because they want a real big fight, and since he don't have a platform to put his fighters on, top rank Bob Arum, so he probably got desperate and said, the zone is putting all this pressure to make this big fight. So I could get a platform to put my fights on. I'm going to put my fights on the zone and make this big fight and this big splash in my first fight with the zone. That's what Top Rank is probably thinking, Bob Arum. So maybe his back was pushed against the wall to make this fight, but he doesn't really have to make this fight just yet, because Xander Zayas still has room to grow. And I'm not saying that he's not ready for Jaramboos Ennis, but it might be too soon. We don't know, but I just feel like he has the goods. He'll rise to the occasion, Xander Zayas or Jaramboos Ennis, both of them. But I feel like they should build the fight more to let Xander Zayas grow into his man weight and to his full potential. But hey, this sport is like everybody wants everything now, and with all these boxing promotions and all these different networks, boxing is a business, a huge business now. It's not like before. They want to make big names fight big names, but they don't let the number one contender rise to the occasion and go up in the ranks and fight for the championship. He'll probably fight Joe Smo, a champion nobody knows about, but he won't get an opportunity with a name fighter, because everything is all about a monopoly of big names fighting big names. That's the way boxing is right now. But what do you guys think of Zuldo Ramirez versus David Benavidez? Who do you got? And of course, Ryan Garcia versus Shakur Stevenson. It seems like that fight is getting further and further away from happening, and I feel like it's just a money fight. It's not a fight for legacy. It's just a money fight. That's really what it is. It's a money fight. So anyway, subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Yes, Mendoza, the guy, what's his name? Joannis Tellers. He's gonna fight Brian Mendoza, the one that beat Sebastian Fundora and knocked him out in the 7th round. The Keith Thurman fight. The Keith Thurman versus All right, let's switch gears. The Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fundora. Who do you guys have winning that fight? Keith Thurman is saying some stuff like Sebastian Fundora may be ready mentally, but physically, his muscle memory is once he gets hit by one of Keith Thurman's shots, his muscle memory is going to remind him of how he felt when he got knocked out, or he got hit with those power punches when he got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. Which Brian Mendoza is fighting Joannis Tellers, the guy, he was undefeated at one time when he was fighting Barao. Barao upset him. He's going to fight him. And that's, I feel Sebastian Fundora versus Keith One-Time Thurman. I think Keith One-Time Thurman has the goods, and I think he's going to win the fight. And I think he can possibly knock out Fundora. He's been knocked out before. He can be knocked out again. And I'm not just saying that because Keith Thurman is one of my favorite fighters. He's a very colorful personality. I love his charisma. He's kind of like me. But nah, I'm myself. I'm unique. But I feel like Keith One-Time Thurman has a boxing pedigree that's he can box in and out, and he has power. And I believe that he has a lot of great footwork, and the height will not make too much of a difference because he's not the chin is not as tall as his height. You know, his chin, you don't have to go so high to hit him on the chin. He was right about that. Keep one-time Thurman. But yeah, keep one-time Thurman. I believe that, you know, Sebastian Fundora doesn't really use his height to his advantage. He fights inside. He has a long reach. He can fight. He's very dangerous inside. And he can be dangerous on the outside, but he fights more on the inside. He doesn't use his boxing or his height to his advantage. And I believe that that'll be a detriment to him in the fight with Keep One Time Thurman. And I believe Keep One Time Thurman will do what he needs to do to box in and out, fight inside and move outside and stay inside and smother him. That's what I think that Keep One Time Thurman is going to do. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. I haven't been on the channel for a while, but I'm back. And I want to shout out a Avisar Cotto, mi hermano Avisar Cotto. Te agradezco mucho por las entrevistas que me diste. Y yo sé que tú vas a ganar. Si peleas con Delvin Hernández en la revancha, lo vas a noquear y le vas a ganar por decisión. Solo que mantenga las manos arriba y tiras el jab y boxea. Cuando tú estabas boxeándole a Delvin Hernández, tú lo estabas dominando y tú le estabas dando y estabas ganando la pelea fácilmente así. So debes de pelear con esa estrategia, mi hermano Avisar Cotto. Te quiero mucho, te aprecio y me gustaría darte una entrevista cuando tú puedas y me dejas saber de tus próximos planes. Tú sabes que tú eres mi caballo, tú eres mi gallo. Yo nunca voy a dejar de apoyarte. Tú eres un talentoso boxeador y tienes un gran futuro por delante. Avisar Cotto. Y me gustaría entrevistarte y yo sé que cuando tú estés listo, tú me vas a dar la entrevista y yo tengo la canción para que tú entres en el ring y para que tú entrenes y para que te motive. Tú tienes el talento, mi hermano. Tú no tienes que quitarte. Yo sé que tú tienes babilla y tú vas a llegar lejos. Y eso fue un aprendizaje. Tú vas a ganar en la próxima en la revancha. So I just was shouting out to my brother Avisar Cotto that he's going to win in the rematch. I would like to get Felix Padilla on my channel. He looks so great. He knocked out a fighter that's never been knocked out. He's never been knocked out at all. I forgot his name, but Felix Padilla, if you want to come to my channel, you can. I'll interview you. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You're tuning into my channel. Peace. One love. Check out my music on all major platforms. Tony also, my new single, Don't You Know? And I Won't Stop. Check out my music, Unite the Tribes. All my albums, check them out. I got a new album coming out, The Essence of Who I Am. One love. And I got Keith Murray on a song with me, Stop Being Greedy. I'm still working on it. A lot of hard work. Peace. Subscribe to the channel. Tony also knows boxing. You